Professor Krauss, we've had two of our discussions in this series of 3 dialogues. Share with us some of your reflections on the experience and perhaps what you're looking forward to tonight.
Well, first I have to say that it's been a pleasure working with you in the City Bilingual Forum. Everyone has been incredibly gracious to me and also incredibly well organized. I've been very impressed with the earnestness with which people have wanted to carry this out and the goodwill and good faith that's occurred throughout. So for me, that's been a very pleasant surprise because it isn't always that way. The discussions have each been different. I think I've come to understand, I've debated Dr. Craig one time before, and I'm very happy we didn't do a debate format because the debate format really isn't an information format, it's a rhetorical device, which I think is why Dr. Craig enjoys them. I wanted to have a discussion, and we've tried to do that. I will say also that this has reinforced my notion, that the first two have reinforced my notion that discussions are best done without a moderator. I think the moderator gets in the way, and I think, frankly, both nights, in some ways, the moderator got in the way for different reasons. I think two people who are experienced debaters or discussants could, in principle, have an interesting discussion and go back and forth and question each other if they were asked to do so, after giving a presentation. And I would have been intrigued to see how that had worked. We'll see how it goes tonight. But it did confirm an opinion that I've had, which, of course, as a scientist, I like to think I can change my opinions based on the empirical evidence, unlike Dr. Craig, who, as far as I can see, doesn't. And as far as the discussions are concerned, I've learned a lot about, I think, where Dr. Craig is coming from that I hadn't really appreciated before. The earnestness of his intention to basically, because he believes something, to try and prove that belief to be reasonable in spite of any evidence or reason to the contrary. Often we talk past one another, as I think people expected. But I was very, very surprised at the in my mind, weakness on two fronts: the discussion of justifying the sort of evil in the Bible, which I think was an interesting discussion the first night, and the second night, a set of logic that I simply can't understand, epitomized by the claim that if the universe has an explanation, it must be God, without any justification. To me, that's the weakest argument I think I've ever heard, and one that indicates to me that an individual who clearly is educated and thoughtful and intelligent, if that is acceptable, then it indicates to me that the desire to believe is so strong that anything you say that supports that belief is reasonable, and anything you say that anyone else says that questions that belief is suspect. And I think that's what we've seen a lot during the discussion. But as I say, I've learned. I guess what I've primarily learned is the deepness and earnestness of Dr. Craig's faith and how it governs him. And I think I've also probably learned that as I expected at the beginning, a discussion format is indeed far more informative. And I think in particular in the second debate, where we got to discuss a little more and the moderator wasn't spending most of the evening talking, that I think, at least for the audience, even though there may not have been a lot of give and take, and I think there was actually some give and take, some discussion back and forth, at least that discussion and questioning of each other's views is something that was good. And I hope that will happen again tonight. I certainly intend to. I certainly don't intend to step back. I intend to do what I came all along to do, which is question things when I think that they're wrong, or point out distortions of science when I think they're wrong, and I assume Dr. Craig will do the same thing. In any case, that's longer than 2 minutes, but it's been an interesting experience, and as I say, a pleasure working with you all, and I just hope for the audience that they found that their time was worth it.